What's cracking, guys? Omar Yusuf here, back with another video. Back today to talk about triceps, a muscle group that I need to improve upon, hence making this video. Please note when I say the best tricep exercises for trying to grow your triceps, I'm not talking about compound movements. In fact, I'm assuming it's a given that you do some sort of close grip bench press variation, dips, big compound movements that comprise the majority of your tricep training. What I'm showing specifically today are movements that I personally like doing for triceps that are joint friendly, that actually mechanically work your triceps properly. I want to talk a little bit about the long head of the triceps that's often neglected. You need to be in a stretched overhead position of the shoulder in order to really target that one because it attaches differently from the other two heads of your triceps. So that's a quick tip right there, but also just variations that I personally find effective. And so in the first place, something that I want to say is that when I move towards isolation tricep exercises, I actually like cables in order to keep that constant tension. In fact, the first one I want to talk about would be the overhead rope tricep extension. This one works your long head of the triceps a little bit more. The bench press, the dip, it doesn't work it as much as it should, and so I think throwing in some isolation movements are important. The overhead tricep, however, when you use a rope, it keeps that constant tension, that stretch position. So when you bring the weight all the way down, you still have tension when you initiate, and then at the top, because it's a cable unlike a free weight, where the physics are completely different, you'll have that constant tension on the long head of the tricep. So focusing on higher repetitions and making sure your elbows are tucked and then you're flaring them out so you're fully extending with the triceps are very important. And maybe that's an overall tip. Some things that I personally like to pick when I'm training triceps would be full range of motion. And so one of the ones that you'll see when we're talking about it, there's 4 movements in this tip video, but the second one would be a one-arm cable tricep rope extension, or just with the cable itself, where you hold a neutral grip. I like a neutral grip often because I find personally when I'll use pronated or when I use supinated, other muscle groups get involved. Neutral is the easiest for me personally to feel my triceps in fact working. So when you have a one-arm cable tricep extension, you're not just pulling it straight down, you're actually pulling it down and back because you want to make sure that you're getting that full range of motion. The extension at the end is 100% instead of your elbow having a soft bend. And so we choose a cable because of that constant tension, unlike a free weight. That's why you won't see me talk too much about tricep kickbacks, because for the vast majority of a tricep kickback, your triceps aren't really doing any work. So we want to keep the tension on what's important, those triceps, extend all the way down and extend past where your arm's straight down by the side of your shoulder. It should extend a little bit beyond that. Movement number 3, we want to talk about a variation of skull crushers. I actually really like skull crushers. I would almost include them as part of the greater compound movements for triceps, just because you could load them up a little heavier. We're really talking about isolation movements to add at the end of your push day, at the end of your chest, tricep, and shoulder day, at the end of your arm day, whatever. These are the movements that you should be doing. A neutral grip dumbbell extension, I like it flat or on the incline. And what I like to do too for the elbows is roll a little back with the shoulders. So allow the shoulders to glide back behind your head and then roll it forward and make sure that at the top you're really squeezing. I think that's something that's obvious, but something people neglect when it comes to isolating particular muscle groups. They're not contracting the muscles properly. So again, one of the best tips for the triceps would be at the end of that extension, make sure you're flexing the triceps. So number 3 would be the dumbbell tricep extension. I like it on a decline or flat. All the movements I'm showing today are variations that every single person here can do. It doesn't require any fancy equipment. You just need a basic commercial gym membership. And then lastly, probably the most common one, a tricep push down, some sort of variation. And now there is a problem, and Els is going to show here, that Sean, being the wonder kid that he is, invented something that allows you to get past, because when you use a bar, even when you use a rope, at the bottom of his tricep push down, your body's probably in the way. Because like I said before, if you really extend properly with your triceps, you'll notice that the bar gets in the way and you don't have that full range of motion. So ideally, what Sean has here at Fortis Fitness allows you to flex the tricep at the bottom. That's what everyone should have. For now, we're going to use the typical lat pull down attachment, and we're almost, instead of pulling it towards us, we're going to be pushing down and almost away. We want to make sure that we're keeping the tension, the line of pull when we're using the machine, that we're keeping the tension on the joint itself. And that's perhaps the last tip that I'd say in this video. You want to make sure you're keeping constant tension, because if it's a small muscle group, so we could talk about triceps, but then we could talk about the long head of the triceps. Again, most exercises don't target them, therefore you should really develop that mind-muscle connection in order to properly target that muscle. These have been 4 of my personal favorite tricep isolation movements. Let me know in the comment section below what your favorite movements are. Thank you so much for watching this damn video. Hey, if you liked the video, make sure to like the damn video, and I'll see all you guys, my rascals, my dirty rascals, in that next video. Peace.